So today we're going to look at multiplying binomial by binomial.
Really?
We saw, when we looked already earlier today, when we used our area model from Friday, if we had to multiply x plus 3 times 2x plus 5, and we made one side of our area of our rectangle 2x plus 5 and the other side x plus 3, when we put these together, we have a 2x squared. What do we do with the 5x and the 6x? They're like terms. Put them together. And so this is our answer. Now for each thing that we multiplied, we drew an arrow to represent it. To get the 2x squared, that was this first arrow. Move some of these arrows away. So to get the 2x squared, that was our first arrow right here. To get the 5x, that was when we multiply the x by the 5. To get the 6x, that's when you multiply the 3 by the 2x. And to get the 15, we multiply the 3 by the 5. Now, in English, we create an acronym to help us remember how to do this. To multiply this x by this 2x, we use the letter F because they're both the first terms in each of the binomials. To multiply the x by the 5, we use an O because they're both on the outside. The 3 and the 2x, we use an I because they're both on the inside. And the 3 and the 5, we use an L because they're the last ones. So we call this idea FOIL. So what it's going to look like is the following. When we multiply the first ones, what do we get when we multiply x times x? X squared. What do we get when we multiply the outside ones? The inside ones? A negative 2x. And finally, the last ones? Negative 8. So that's our first step. We multiply the first ones, the outside ones, the inside, and the last. Then we look, can we simplify this any further? Are there any like terms? There is. The 4x and the minus 2x are like terms. When you put them together, we get x squared plus 2x minus 8.
Wait, so that's all we need to do?
Mm-hmm.
So basically just doing two answers. Yeah, one was reduced.
One of them is the time when you multiply first, outside, inside, last. In fact, if we label over top of those what we did, and then the outside and the inside ones happen to be like terms, so you can combine them together. So again, if you ever forget the algebra way of doing it, what you can do is you can show the rectangle.
Good job.
And make your area. What's x times x? X squared. X times minus 2, minus 2x. X times 4, 4x. 4 times negative 2, negative 8. And when you put your like terms together, you get exactly the same answer. So with the algebra, first ones, the outside ones, the inside ones, the last ones, and then when we combine our like terms, 9 minus 6 plus 3. So just be careful with the positives and the negatives.
Wait, how do you get 54?
Because 9 times 6 equals 54, but 9 times negative 6 equals negative 54.
Yeah, true that. You know I could be my true that.
And here we have the area.
Donald Trump is gonna be president. How would you
Yeah, he's actually going to be president. Like,
Okay, let's see how you did.
I just finished it.
M times m. M squared. The outside ones. M times a negative 12, negative 12m. Plus 5m. Minus 60. We have like terms in the middle. What is minus 12 plus 5? Negative 7. So when you're multiplying three things, you have to choose two of them to multiply together first. You do that, and then you multiply by the third one. Okay? That's the same thing works with regular numbers. If you did 2 times 3 times 4, most people will do 2 times 3 first. 2 times 3 is 6. And then do 6 times 4.
But 12 times 12 is so easy.
Okay? And get 24. The answer to this is 24. Most people will do those two first, then multiply by 4 to get 24. But you don't have to do those two first. You can choose. Let's say you want to do the 3 times 4 first. Then this becomes 12 times 2. Well, what's 12 times 2? 24. Or you could choose to do the 2 times 4 first. What's 2 times 4? 8. What's 8 times 3? 24. So it doesn't matter which two you choose to multiply first, but you do multiply two of them first and then multiply by your third one. So in this case, we have three things multiplied together. We're going to do it in two different ways. We're going to, the first time, just multiply the first two together and see what we get, and then multiply by the third one. And the second time, we're going to multiply the last two together first, and then multiply by the 2 in the end. So in the first one, if I want to multiply these two together first, how do I multiply a number outside of a binomial? What was this called?
Simplification.
When you had one number out in front. What was the word we used?
Oh, it was expand.
No, it started with a D.
Oh.
Distribute. So we distribute. So it'll be 2x minus 6. And we'll still have the x plus 2 there. So when we multiply the 2 by the x minus 3, we get 2x minus 6. And now, and we have like terms. So what we did is we multiplied the first two and then multiplied by the third one. We could have also multiplied the last two together first. So if I would have done that first, x times x would give me x squared. X times 2 would give me plus 2x. X times minus 3 would give me negative 3x. And negative 3 times 2 would give me negative 6. If we simplify that, we get x squared minus x minus 6. And we still have the 2 in front. Again, when you have a single number out in front of the brackets, you have to distribute. So this 2 would go to each term inside. 2 times x will give us 2x squared. 2 times the negative x, negative 2x. And 2 times negative 6, negative 12. You see, you get the same answer either way. So when you're multiplying three things, choose two of them to multiply first. Whatever answer you get stays in brackets. And then you might have to multiply a binomial by a binomial or distribute after, depending which technique you used. So here we have a binomial squared. X minus 5 squared really means x minus 5 times x minus 5. It's important that you write it out like this so that you can draw your arrows. What's x times x? X squared. X times minus 5? Minus 5x. Another minus 5x. A negative times a negative is positive, and you get plus 25. That gives us x squared minus 10x plus 25 as our answer.